My camera's gone all dark again. I don't know why. Let me just fix that. Hello everyone. Welcome to the last sponsored stream for a little while. But this is the stream I've been doing in collaboration with GameMaker. Been using GameMaker for a while. Mostly just been playing other people's games on this channel and giving them feedback. And thought it was about time I started working on my own project again. We won't be releasing for another 2 weeks, but this will be the last sort of stream where I'm working on the game live for a couple of weeks. And then we will be releasing. So if you're not in the Discord for DirtWorld yet, there should be a link to the DirtWorld Discord in the chat, in the description. So yeah, join that. There's also a link to GameMaker itself, so if you've been thinking about having a play around with GameMaker, then please do. So just down here. So check out GameMaker link. Click that if you want to have a look at GameMaker and find out how it works. I started learning by starting off with drag and drop, but only for a couple of months, and then went into GML coding after that, and still learning all the time. We've got Gleb in the chat who has been doing loads of tooling work for me on this project that is making the project easier to develop in future. And yeah, the playtest should be up 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas, mid-December. So I did say 15th of December, but I'm actually moving that day. So it's going to be just before that or just after that. And yeah, that will be our alpha playtest where people can just kind of see how the game feels and give some feedback on it. I've got a weird set of stuff to do today. It's like loads of little weird quality of life type things. So we're mostly going to be doing things that are on this blue list here on my Kanban board. Lots of little piddly things. So I'll explain them as we go through them, I think. And talk about what I'm doing as I do it. But these are all things that shouldn't be hard to achieve. They're just sort of unrelated to each other. I'll just show you the game quickly so that you can get some context if you haven't been in this stream before, or if you just want to see what I've done in the last week since the last one, because I only do one of these streams a week at the moment. Hi MKRD, well done for completing your first game jam. That's excellent. So the main thing that has been added in the last week is that this game now has poos in, and I've been meaning to actually make them a bit more visible, so I'm going to do that now before I get too stuck into playtesting, because they're not very visually clear. So, you know, this is absolutely the most important thing that I can do with my time right now, is make these poos a little bit easier to see. Because we had a poll in the Discord, and I was like, how do you feel about there being poos in the game? And people said, well, as long as they've got a purpose, which is like the most, that's such a roguelike fan answer. Needs to do something. Yeah, we gotta, I'll show you the poo functionality in the game, and then after that I'll turn them off because they're quite gross and they make a disgusting sound. And they're not really supposed to start right next to you, but I just, we've only just got a dev tool to spawn in objects, so whenever I've been testing objects up to this point, I've had to like copy the object and put it in the level manually. And Gleb has just put in an object spawner, which we didn't have before. So that means I no longer have to just stick things in the starting room like I have been doing. Yeah, you need to see the poo before it's too late. Absolutely. Just put some... Someone was complaining to me that it didn't have enough texture to it. Which is, it's interesting, isn't it? Because everyone's going to have a different idea of what poo should look like. Because diets and stuff like that. Hi Conway, we're just drawing some poo. Yeah, we've basically got so many dev tools on this project that I don't know how to use them all yet. Because I didn't put them in. And Gleb has taken me all through them, but it's going to take me a while until I've got to a point where I've got a use case for all of them. So it's going to be over the next month where I'm tinkering around with stuff. But either before the alpha or just after the alpha. Right, so I'll show you how the poo works. I'm going to do a video about this, by the way, because it ended up being a good example of something, which is like, how do you decide if something is a good idea? And it's like, well, you wait until it becomes evident that it's a good idea. So, you know, the Discord folks said, we only want poo in the game if it does something. And I thought, well, the obvious use for poo in a game is to fertilize flowers, so we'll do that, but then it ends up doing other stuff as well, which is just sort of emerging out of the fact that there's a load of different stuff in the game. So you'll notice up here there's these little sprouts here, these green sprouts that kind of just look like decoration for a while, but they grow when you open new rooms, so they're another kind of reward for sort of surviving longer, and because they're not based on actual time. There's like a tick every time you build a room, and then they have a chance to grow. And there's also a relic that speeds up how quickly they grow. So if I build the warehouse, maybe some of those will grow. You'll see some that are in the next growth stage, like that one just up there. I need to use my new teleport. This one up here, right? This one up here is in the final growth stage before it becomes a flower. So that one's going to become a flower organically if I just open another room or two. Nope, hasn't done. Okay, maybe one more. They have like a 1 in 3 chance per new room to grow to the next growth stage, so they take a little while. Just gonna cheat and give myself more keys. Right, what is that? I'm just gonna screenshot that and come back to it later because it's interrupting us, so I'm gonna put that on here. A bug on my... That was something to do with bonfires. I'm just gonna stick it in my GDD for the moment and I'll come back and fix that in a minute. That's very strange. I've not seen that bug before. I think the zoom feels great, yeah. So we've got this new sort of fractional zoom where it starts off zoomed in, and then the more rooms you build, it kind of gradually goes out to the level of zoom it was at before. So it kind of means that you get to see the art at different scales. We've also got some kind of automatic pixel art scaling stuff going on here, which the purists won't be happy about, but it was always going to be a grungy looking game. So what this fixes was an issue before where when we were super zoomed out, the main place you could notice it was the golem's eyes were like changing shape because they were no longer a single pixel. It's kind of got one wider eye there, but maybe he's just a bit drunk. You thought of that? So what we need to do is go and find a sprout, and I will just throw a poop at it. There we go. So if I pick up one of these and take it up here and then do that. Automatic flowers. They grow a bit fast, but you know, it's DirtWorld logic. And then I can take my flower back to the castle and give it to him. And he doesn't like it, because that's what he's like. So, that's what I've been working on. So yeah, we've got poo, and I'm going to just remove those poops from the test room for now so that they're not always just greeting us when we start the game. Take these out. But yeah, the flowers will be kind of cooking ingredients. You can also you can put 2 flowers together in a cauldron and you get, or let's test our item spawning actually. There's like a flower bomb item now, which, you know, you can tell I've been revisiting Elden Ring because I just want everything to have flower bomb. There we go. Can I drop one from a great height and it will smash? Will that happen? Yeah, there we go. So we've got a flower bomb that does that as well. Makes a... Does that do anything yet? I can't remember. I don't think it does. It will do eventually though. Oh, basically I want to make the flower bomb work so that you can kind of nuke these red rooms with it and you can turn all the fungus into soil. And then they'll also have some other purposes, but I mean, just what would you expect perfume to do in a fantasy game, basically? You kind of think through all of the different things you could do with that. That's beautiful. You've given me too much power, Gleb. That means we can also do this now. Powerful. They're a little bit overly susceptible to fire. You drop the goats next to a campfire and they just all run into it and become food. Unfortunately. Some of them die and get cooked and some of them just die. Now that we've got the zoom in, you can see the wiggly worms as well, which is good. Not beating the trapdoor allegations. And we can also, who else have we got on our... Oh, I made another goat. He's going to fall down the hole, though. The goat has no edge checking at all. The gnome does, I think. I'll fix that one now. I need to shut some of this stuff.